So we're gonna start from self-storage, which is like a project that you make in the context of residency, isn't it?
Yeah, self-storage estéticas de la emergencia habitacional was a project developed with Ada Fuentes. It started in 2020, and we are still working on it. Actually, we're working on a publication, on a printed publication about the project. And well, the basic point of the project is a reflection on a reflection on the housing emergency situation underlying a city like Barcelona. Yeah, we found out that there were different agents, such as firms such as IKEA, Blue Space, or Haibu, that were somehow designing products in order to face this situation of substandard housing, or the rolling house or the rolling society. As you can see in the images, this one to the right with the cardboard boxes, this was the collection of IKEA Onbite that was presented in 2019. So it was a collection that was designed in order to face the move when you go from one house to another. And I mean, they were presenting it as a desirable fact. It's like a kind of, let's say they offer a product, but in the end, people accept that product because they have no other choice.
What is interesting is that you were also working before of the actual pandemic to these topics of dwelling, house, and so these topics have always been important for you. Can you explain us why?
Let's say that the starting point from this interest was the fact that I moved to Barcelona from Mallorca in 2012, when I came to study fine arts here. It's already been 9 years from that. In fact, one of the central spaces taking place in this project was our studio of 5 square meters located in our house, in our shared flat. That is where I'm staying now at the moment. This is the 5 meters square studio. Wow. So it's like a site-specific conversation also. And as you can see in the drawing, it was really important also the relation between the body and the volume, the room itself. The big one would be the studio, as I was telling you, while the little one would be one of the Haibu's nest. Yeah, these little rooms that they are renting for around 200 euros per month in Barcelona. Yeah, you can also see some other drawings which are referring to other kind of storages or rooms, precarious rooms, or let's say balcony, storage room, the street itself with cardboard. Yeah. On this drawing, you can see like another view of the same question. The yellow figure is the nest another time. The blue one is our studio, while the gray one of 15 square meters was the space that we were inhabiting at Lshed. Yeah, at the Lshed. So as you can see, it was one of the main points of the project was relating the three spaces. Yeah, the first day when we arrived to Lshed, for example, we entered the space. We went to see the Lshed. That was a space repurposed this 2020. There was like some architectural elements, like these windows of polypropylene, which were, temporary materials, not definitive materials, but temporary. And I think that the materials itself talked about this housing emergency situation also. That's why we started like documenting the process of inhabiting this space, this studio in Las Cueces. And the dust, as you can see, was also one of the major issues that we had to deal with. One of the measures that we took was we covered the surfaces where we were supposed to work. For example, we covered the table with these plastic bags, which is also really precarious material and also used when you are moving to a new home to pack things and that stuff. I showed you a few minutes ago the drawing with the 3 different volumes, and here you can see them. It's an installation based on tulle fabric, and this was the process of installing this piece. Let's say you can also see some of the photographs there hanging on the wall, and let's say that we just wanted to create like this environment, this site-specific environment in our studio, in order to show how reduced is the space that we are inhabiting daily. Yeah, somehow that was the main intention. Well, you can see here, these were the last days of the residency at La Escocesa. You can see Ada there and his father just packing all of the artworks and all of the stuff, because meanwhile I was in Belgrade for another art residency, so we have a really short-term relation with space. This would be the idea that I wanted to point out.
Absolutely. Mobility over stability.
Yeah, sure. I don't know if you heard about that, but during the lockdown in Las Vegas in United States, a refugee of homeless people was evacuated because a contagion was detected inside. And as you can see, what the administration did was painting this grid clearly white on black to fit these people here for 2 nights or something like that. Yeah. This is also really interesting for me, how painting, when applied to urban spaces, can become a source, a biopolitical source of segregation, of unproductive bodies. And relating to that fact, I made this artwork. It's one of the biggest works that I've made in these recent years. Somehow I was shocked by this use of the painting in the public space, and by the effect that it had on the bodies of these people, actually. And yeah, the painting is like a kind of reenactment of that fact, or critic of that. And now, if you want, we can talk about the next project, Pintura de Andar por Casa, which was a more pictorial approach. It was a project that started during the lockdown, actually. And all of the paintings done in this time were done in this studio of 5 square meters. There's another concept really important in my practice also, which is the architectural limit. All of these works were conditioned by these 5 square meters. And here in this one, for example, Dwelling Fields, the colors used are the ones of the pavements of the different rooms, the shared flat here in Barcelona. This one on the center to the top, this drawing is like a representation, but it's a mental, it's an abstraction, let's say. I didn't copy the form from a map or a plane or something. I tried to reproduce the shape of our flat just from the memories. Here we have another one, Keep the Distance. I suppose you remember the first month when all the pandemic started and the lockdowns and all that stuff, social distance. Lots of spaces were covered by these tapes on the floor, indicating the distances that we had to respect between the bodies and all that stuff. So that's
are still so present, honestly.
Still. Finally, I wanted to show you this project, Domestic Structures, which was developed in 2019, 1 year before all that crisis. It's like a reproduction based on clay, on clay blocks, of the different shared rooms that we are sharing in our apartment here in Barcelona. The most interesting point, I think, was the process itself of creating the work, because it was done by hand, like creating the material, the clay, and that process had like a symbolic meaning for me. And also the material, the clay, I mean, it's related to nature somehow, to earth. And after that, once I had them finished, I decided to take them separately, one by one. I placed them in every of the different rooms. You can see the bedroom, the studio, the kitchen, the living room, the bathroom, and finally the corridor at the border of the kitchen here. This second part of the project was opening a dialogue between both the real space and this second representation or recreation of this space.
But did you scale down the real measure of the room, or you did it as well, again, using your memory and so on?
No, exactly. You're right. I did it, let's say, visually and from my memory, yeah.
Would you like to explain something more about the rolling society, which is a concept that we saw before, but I'm also really interested to know how this relates with the dwelling emergency in Barcelona and so on.
Sure. Yeah, the rolling society is a concept defined by the architect Andrés Jaque, who is based in between Madrid and New York. And he's working also on an institution called the Office for Political Innovation. And he defines that concept, the rolling house and the rolling society, as new ways of, new paradigms of urbanism, let's say, that take place in domestic space. During this lockdown, domestic space offered new possibilities of inhabiting it. For example, I don't know, my girlfriend Ada Fuentes, with whom I've been sharing flat like these 3 years or something like that, took dance classes in the living room. I mean, this was like a crazy thing to think about before the arrival of COVID.
So it's a concept that allow us to understand, as also your work does, our new way of dwelling the space.
Yeah, totally.
Precarization that come from it.
Yeah, if we talk about the prices of renting house, for example, in Barcelona, it's so hard to find a room for less than, let's say, 300 euros per month. And for example, Haibu is renting this little nest, which are like 2.5 square meters for a price of 200 euros. So the difference of price is not so much between a regular room and the nest. I think this is also talking about this concept, the substandard housing and this precarization of housing in the city. Also, as you can see here in this picture to the left, well, these are commodity containers used by the Council of Barcelona in order to create affordable housing. Yeah. When you see all these figures, all these new iconographies about home, I think it's a bit disgusting or a bit preoccupating. Yeah. If you want, we could see a little video here from Haibu, which is like really clear. I think it represents really clear this panorama. This is like the manager of the firm. Save someone. Where was it? Okay, here. Now you'll see the exact dimensions, let's say. Yeah, and as I was telling you, they are offering this nest for 200, 250 euros per month. So it sounds so crazy for me.